Hey guys, Miles here at Tactical Hyve. Welcome to another episode of Force and Force Fridays. This week I'm joined by Dave Steinbach, who you've seen in many of our other videos. And we just finished up a Force and Force class that Dave has led here. And we covered an interesting topic that was discussed a lot by the students. And that is a situation or scenario if you're held up by gunpoint, whether it's an ATM or anywhere, from the back, and someone literally has their gun on your back. And I think that there was some great discussion points, and Dave really covered a lot of good ideas, and so we wanted to share that with you.
All right, guys, so we're going to talk about a couple of different things that, hey, the good and the bad, right? So if I'm in a bad situation where I'm being held up from the rear right now, it's probably as good as I can get because Miles was touching me. Because Miles is touching me, even though my back's to him, I have an indication of how close he is. I can feel that on my back, and I know he's within arm's reach of me, right? That's good. Worst case scenario is to be here. And I hear him, and I have commands, and I look, I see that he's armed. This is the worst case scenario because I don't know how far he is, and me trying to spin, if I decide that I'm going to go hands-on or I'm going to try to fight for my life, I'm at a huge disadvantage at this point because of the reactionary gap. Look at the space he has, and no matter when I start spinning, I'm never going to beat that.
I have a sim pistol here. This is not fire live rounds, and it is completely dry, so we're going to use this as a prop here, okay?
So some things I can do out of the gates, all right? If I get, hey, I'm being held up from the rear, I'm like, ooh, okay. And he's not touching me, right? The first thing I'm gonna do, if I've made the choice, like, hey, I'm gonna let this go as far as I can, I'm gonna be in the fight for my life, I'm not gonna respond to him. He's gonna tell me to do something. I'm counting my blessings already that he hasn't shot me, right? So I'm gonna take hey, he hasn't shot me already, he wants something from me. So when he tells me to do whatever, I'm just gonna be like, man, I am scared and I'm afraid and my hands are up, right? And he commands me to do something.
Give me your wallet. Give me your wallet, man.
Right, and I'm just like, I sit here. Well, if he has all the power and he has all the control right now. He has the pistol. He's taking all the power and all control. By him telling me to do something and I don't respond, a very typical reaction is he's going to make me. He's going to make me do what he told me to do. And typically what you're going to see is like, can you get shot? Sure. I'm not saying you wouldn't get shot, but what we see more often is he's got all the power. He's going to force you to do what he told me to do. So he's here. He's telling me to give him his wallet.
Wallet, man. Give me your wallet.
And I'm frozen with fear, man. I'm like, man, I don't know what you want. And
man, give me your money.
Now he's did what I wanted him to do. He's closed the distance and he's making me do stuff, right? He puts the gun to my back, which tells me, okay, three things. One, it tells me how close he is. Two, he's going to dictate to what direction I change. Which direction do I turn, right? If he puts this gun in the spine of my back, right in the middle of the spine, I can turn whichever direction I want. If he places that gun off to my left-hand side, he's forcing me to turn to my right. The reason is, I'm here and I'm making the assessment. I'm going to start trying to clear the gun. As I'm clearing the gun, I want to clear my spine out of the way of that muzzle as quickly as I possibly can. If I turn into it and he starts to pull the trigger, I'm increasing the gap time of my spine intersecting with the barrel by moving into it. By moving away from it, I'm decreasing it, and I'm getting into a better position now to where I can control the gun, remove the gun, or control Miles. I'm in a better fighting position than I was before. If he puts the gun to the other side, again, he's forcing me this way. Again, deal with the gun, deal with controlling it, deal with him. And this is a decision I made. I'm not gonna comply. I'm gonna fight for my life, and I'm gonna go from there. But I'm doing these gaps, these little things to increase my survivability at this point. This weekend's class has had a perfect example for that being utilized. The scenario was set. The student had an infant, and he was placing the infant in a grocery store parking lot somewhere in the back seat, in the car seat. And while he was in the car seat, putting the kid in the car, he's being carjacked. So his kid's already secured now in a vehicle, and this guy's not letting him take the baby. He's trying to talk to him to get the baby, and the guy's not having it. And he's got this, he had the gun on the right-hand side of the student, and the student's not gonna leave his baby and let this guy steal the car. So at this point, he decides that he's going hands-on. It's far enough to the side. He made a decision to spin and turn and go hands-on with the guy. We got the B-roll footage, so let's take a look at it.
All right, I'm against the car.
The other car.
This car.
Get against that other car.
All right, let me grab my son.
No,
we'll walk
move
away.
against
We'll
the
walk
car.
And as you mentioned, so it is, during the class, Dave put it as making a really bad situation potentially a little better. And this is in the instance if you, again, have made the decision you have to you have to defend yourself or you really fear for your life, whatever it might be.
As a last ditch, hey man, it's like, I'm not gonna not just gonna accept it. I'm gonna fight for my life.
Reason to maybe family, whatever it is, but it's a possible option for you. And as we mentioned earlier in the video, this was something that was discussed in depth in the class. So we thought it would be a great idea to share it with you.
Force on force is some of the best training that we can do, that we have found, that it will spike your adrenaline levels, will take your fine motor skills and just disappear, where you're left with nothing but gross motor skills. And you can take a lot of the skill sets that we train on the flat range and implement them into some real world scenarios. I highly recommend force on force in a multiple different, it's one of those things you can train on again and again and again and not get the same results, or there's lots of different options. So if you guys want to see something in particular that we will test during Force and Force, or you have a particular question, let us know in the comments. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.